We are back at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center today for a 2-minute drill. We talked with Matt Patricia, James Smith, Garrett Stover, and Jermaine Matthews. So we'll give a little bit of a recap for that. Again, my name is Blake Biscardi with the Silver Bulletin. We are live at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, and this segment is presented by Hoggies. Go ahead in Bethel Road in Columbus and go ahead and get some of the best barbecue in the city. Kyle and the staff always take care of us there, and they will take care of you too with great food, great culture, and check out the renovations that they're doing right now. So check out Hoggies on Bethel Road in Columbus. Talked with Matt Patricia a little bit yesterday at Pro Day, but then again today. But before we get into Matt Patricia and his contract extension and what he's thinking about the defense this year, let's talk about James Smith and get to know him a little bit, the transfer defensive lineman from Alabama. Him and Quay Russaw both came in this season from the Crimson Tide, coming over to Columbus, and we asked James a little bit about what went into that decision, how it was made, who he talked to, things like that. Caleb Downs was integral in that process for James Smith. He actually called him his brother. And when you see a guy use the word brother, he unpacked that a little bit more by saying, if Caleb tells me something, I'm going to believe him. He has that endorsement from Caleb, and now he's saying Ohio State is real. This is what it's about. And in every conversation that they've had, he said, Caleb never lied to me. Ohio State never lied to me. They told me everything, that it was going to be hard, it was going to be tough, and that's all been true. It's all been backed up, and he's pushing himself to play a higher level of football than he did at Alabama. And when he came and visited, he said something that was really outstanding if you are an Ohio State coach or on this team, when you're saying, we have this culture, this is the culture that we preach, this is the culture that we teach, and this is the culture that we live. Then you have someone coming up from the SEC in Alabama saying, this reminded me of the early Saban years. He said when he went and visited Alabama as a freshman, it reminded him of that. Columbus, Ohio, in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center with Ryan Day reminded him of Alabama under Nick Saban because of the intensity. He said everything is done with such great intention here. He said you're pushed as hard as you possibly can go. You're going to maximize your greatness. And then for James Smith coming in, he said he's going to learn a little bit of the three technique, potentially moving to play a little bit of nose this year, replacing Caden McDonald. But he said that unit on the defensive line, this is one that we have talked about so far in this spring. That is one that's key for Ohio State, losing a handful of pass rushers. Also, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. I know they were playing linebacker, but Arvell Reese has been that stand-up linebacker who's walked up to the line of scrimmage and has rushed the quarterback so successfully, especially early in the season. How's Ohio State going to generate pressure this year? And it's time for that defensive line to step up. This is what Ohio State needs to do. Kenyatta Jackson returning Edric Houston an opportunity to, again, elevate his game even further. Quay Russaw, James Smith, they're also going to be pieces to the puzzle. Then you have guys like Zion Grady, who is on breakout watch. We've said this before for the last couple of weeks. Just the physical traits that he has look really good. He's had a great spring. But again, this defensive line is one that I've been watching all throughout the spring, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to continue to grow throughout the spring, throughout the summer, into fall camp, and then again translate on Saturdays in the fall. And then talking with Matt Patricia a little bit too, he said that he loves Columbus. He said the people here are great. He said the culture here is strong. He loves working for Ryan Day, also giving his family a little bit of stability. He said remaining in Columbus, it gives his family some stability because of the people, how nice everyone is in Columbus, and just the atmosphere. He loves coaching these young kids in college. He loves elevating those guys to the next level. And he said, like, coaching a guy like Caleb Downs is really hard to replace. But can you do it in the aggregate? And the answer is that's what's going to try to happen with Jalen McClain, and kind of by committee here because of the caliber of player that Caleb Downs is. So Ohio State's defense, he's not saying is going to regress. He's just saying it's going to look different this year because you're losing potentially 4 first-round picks, maybe 4 top 15 picks on your defensive side of the ball. Caden McDonald on the defensive line, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese at linebacker, and then Caleb Downs on the backside. So there's a lot to replace, plus IGB2 on the outside. But bringing in Earl Little and Terry Moore, he said getting to work with those guys. Terry Moore didn't play a lot last year because of injury, so he said it's been good to see him getting back into the swing of things, up to game speed throughout practice so far. Then another guy we talked to was Garrett Stover, and he talked about being an Iron Buckeye and what that means to him and how important it was for him to work that hard and really take a huge step here in this spring in that linebacker room that is going to look for guys to contribute. There's open spots there, whether it is on rotational snaps or a starting job. And Garrett Stover has certainly put himself in the conversation to go ahead and be considered there. And then when we asked Matt Patricia about him, he said he absolutely blew the doors off of those spring or winter workouts rather, and now is flashing in the spring a little bit, having a really, really good time learning the defense and stepping up into that role. So a lot of defensive talk here for Ohio State as we got to know James Smith. We got to talk a little bit more with Matt Patricia. We're going to talk to Cortez Hankton, Jeremiah Smith, and the wide receivers on Saturday, so make sure you're staying tuned for that. But again, this has just been a quick recap from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, getting to know James Smith, talking with Matt Patricia and a couple of the other defensive players for the 2-minute drill on the Silver Bulletin. Again, my name is Blake Biscardi. Make sure you're following on social media at @TSilverBulletin and at Blake Biscardi, and then visiting our website, tsilverbulletin.com. Again, guys, thank you for listening, and this has been the 2-minute drill.